Yeah, David, I will just introduce you really quickly.
Thank you.
David started his working experience at his family company, Lantec Solutions, an Italian system integrator, and in 2013 founded LS International in Switzerland as an international hub for network security and cybersecurity. With more than 20 years of experience in TLC and telco markets, David has been lucky enough to collaborate with national and international telecommunication companies throughout most of his career. He's also had the opportunity to work with companies working in the industry and services sectors, taking part in the technological evolutions of network and network security. Welcome, David. We're glad you could be here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're also joined here by Carmi Bogot, Vice President of Business Development at Hub Security. Hello, Carmi. Carmi holds a master's in computer science and a bachelor's of science in economics from the Hebrew University. Carmi was the NDS Vice President of Business Development for over 12 years and has played a key role in helping global security companies penetrate new markets worldwide. For the last 25 years, Carmi is now the Vice President of Business Development at Hub Security and has a long successful track record of helping companies introduce new products and technologies to market. Welcome, Carmi.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Great. I'm excited for today's discussion and also to hear a bit more about LS International and the partnership that they have with Hub Security. So I'll first hand over the stage to Davide, who will share us a bit of information on LS International, and then we'll hear a bit from Carmi on why security is so critical. So take it away, Davide.
Okay, I will try to share my screen. Just a second. I don't want to take too much time for talking about Hub Security, but okay, can you confirm, please, that you can see my presentation?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So a couple of slides about LS International, who we are and what we do. First, we are part of a big family. As said, we are a small team of a big family. We are part of Lantec Longware, that is an Italian system integrator working network security, networking and collaboration, whatever. And we are also part of Zucchetti. Zucchetti is the first European Italian software house. Just to give you a few numbers, the Zucchetti group is counting more than 6,000 people, a huge number of partners around Europe, and a huge number of customers. The revenue today updated, it's more than 1 billion. This is the numbers of Zucchetti group, and we do a really huge offering for software-related HR access and something that is not always in the network security. Lantec Longware is let's say the European system integrator that is dedicated for networking and network security, and you can see the numbers. We are quite 300 people, more than 50 million of revenue, and with an experience of 20 years. And what we do as LSI offering, we provide networking with all the concept of networking, the historical infrastructure of networking that we moved in the years to the security, starting from the network security and moving to the more advanced security level. We are expert in collaboration, IT cloud and software development, and some of our remote services. I don't want now to explain all our portfolio, but just to give you the idea of a company that is doing few and several activities for customer. Who are our customer? We work for the telco market, so the service provider, the fixed and mobile operators in Italy and Europe. We work with the enterprise company, finance and insurance, and the government healthcare, with different specialization inside of our company. The approach is to follow the customer from the beginning. So we provide the assessment, we provide the design, deploy, and the support. Some of you present today are our customer that are using our capabilities for implementing project and also for the support post sales that provided by our network security operating center that is based in Italy and can release services around Europe, is releasing services around Europe. Partnership with Hub Security, just to finish a short picture of the company. Why we are partnership with Hub Security? Because we are really focused in the last 10 years, let's say, or scouting technologies, especially in the network and network security environment and cyber security environment. And Israel is, of course, one of the best areas in the world that you can find out new solution and expert people like the gentleman that I have in front of me today, related to the cyber security. The Swiss market, we think that it's absolutely interesting for this because there are really advanced companies that should need, especially in this period, an enhancement or level of cybersecurity, and we decided to work with Hub Security in the recent year with the idea to provide their technology in the Swiss and let's say European market. Using our capability of professional services. What we do is supporting Hub Security for what they do. Carmi now will explain what they do with a local partner that can be able to support you not only for the commercial and delivery part, but also for the maintenance and support in the future years. And this is my reference, but I think that we can share later. Just 2 minutes briefly to introduce the company. And what we are. Now I would like to leave you the rest of the presentation to Carmi to introduce specifically the technology of our security.
Great, thank you, David.
Welcome.
Yeah, Carmi, feel free to take it away and share.
Okay, I'm going to try to share my screen. Here we are. Sharing. And okay, so first of all, I really would like to thank Davide for the introduction. As he pointed out, technology must have a strong professional services background or partnership in order for it to be implemented and to run by customer locations. And we are very, very happy to have them here. More importantly, we need the companies like LS International to get the word out and to talk to the customer base about the new platform that we have created. And I'd like to talk about our new platform. If this was a sales presentation, I would ask you to interrupt with questions. Since this is a webinar, please don't interrupt with questions, but please feel free to type questions into the chat where we will be able to address these questions at the end of the slides, which hopefully will not take too much time. So we're going to talk about redefining secure computing, and this is where we're going. So I think up until now, computation, it was the central unit of all computer systems. In other words, we put computer systems, we put the CPU in the middle, and then we added other elements to make it secure. Like we added network protection by a firewall, normally an external firewall. We constantly have to patch our operating system because we realize that operating systems are vulnerable and they have lots of holes in them. So if we don't patch them, our systems can be broken. And then if we have secrets or we need encryption, in many cases, we take a third external device called an HSM or hardware secure module, and we store our secrets in there and we do encryption there. These things are add-ons. In the PowerPoint, we call them band-aids. That is slightly a negative way to look at it, but it's the way in which architecture of secure computing is done today by 3 disjointed elements, each one responsible for another aspect where computing does computing, firewall does network, and secure hardware does some of the secure elements. These type of evolution is actually meeting problems. Security is only as strong as its weakest link, and the illustration below sort of shows you in a cloud environment, especially, you have lots and lots and lots of links between lots of different pieces of hardware. And there are elements like quantum computing coming along, which will totally disrupt the ways key exchange are done. It's been proven that quantum computers can actually break all of the key exchange methods used today. Digital assets, blockchain security are one of the aspects that are very vulnerable. Many digital currency companies get hacked today. And then we have artificial intelligence and big data analysis with all of the issues of confidentiality, which are required by these systems. And the current architectures are just really straining, if not suffering a lot, under the strain here. Before I go on to the next slide, the question is, you know, I had a customer ask me, well, Netflix uses the regular cloud. Why can't I? And I told him, because you're doing secure banking. It's sort of, I said to him, you know, if you were at home, you had some video discs that shows a little bit old, you would put them in a drawer and you'd be fine. But your diamonds, you probably wouldn't throw in a drawer under the TV. You'd probably lock them in a safe. And so security needs to match the value of what you're storing. Another way of looking at it is that the current cloud-based, firewall-based architecture gets hacked a lot. So for example, just to bring up something that isn't European, so I'm not going to affect the customer potentially here, Target got hacked and 40 million credit cards got put on the network and people were able to see them. Now, if Target gets hacked once every 2 years, that's not good, but it's not catastrophic. But assume for a second that you have a nuclear power plant and that power plant only gets hacked once every 2 years. Is that sufficient? And obviously the answer is not sufficient. And so when our company started over 3.5 years ago, we looked into what type of secure computing was available. And first of all, we saw that the secure elements were very limited in what they could do, and they were very unflexible. So if you needed to add new functionality to them, they really didn't keep up with what you needed to do. And as we all know, the computing environment is very, very dynamic, where the requirements of security are changing constantly. So we saw the need for a platform that was both secure and flexible at the same time. And we created one based on patented firmware technology, which I'm going to explain soon. Just before I get in here, there's something called FIPS. Now, FIPS is not something I made up. FIPS is a standard way of measuring the security of a computer system. This is done by NIST. NIST actually evaluates systems from level 1 through level 4. And we are proud to say that our platform hardware meets the highest level of security of any computer system. And this is how it looks. I'm not going to get into this. We're going to get into more about what it does, but our Cub Security has deployed our technology in various use cases, which we're going to talk about. We have a Vault HSM, which is either in our cloud or can be on-premise in your cloud. And that is as we said, a very secure platform that we will describe in the future, in the next slides. And we also have a very small HSM, which is pretty unique. This is a 2.4 centimeter HSM with its own on-screen display. And this type of device makes user identification, end-to-end authentication, and authorization extremely secure in remote environments. And we will talk about that in the future as well. In a sales presentation, I would talk for about an hour about this slide, which I am not going to do right now. But in general, these are all of the features of our platform which make it unique. I just like to point out a few things here. So first of all, our hardware platform is built in-house. So hackers can't go online and download the design of the hardware. Our operating system that operates inside is actually our own. There is no known operating system. So this doesn't run hardened Linux or Windows with a patch. There is no Linux and there is no Windows. It's all our own operating system run within our own, on our own hardware. And this makes it extremely hard to hack. And we've had the system evaluated by external security evaluators, and it got very high grades. It's also, everything can be changed and upgraded. So we can upgrade the key exchange algorithms from RSA to post-quantum algorithms, which is something very unique and something that we can do on a deployed system without people having to go touch it or be there. We have very secure remote management. And we also have what we call as a multi-core environment. Not only is each chip secure, but we can put multiple cores in a single device. And this assists greatly with load balancing and with hardware redundancy, and it's very efficient in space. So for example, we have applications where this device is used as an edge device in 5G to secure multiple applications, each application on its own hardware. And this type of dynamic, flexible configuration is pretty unique in a secure computing environment. Our platform is actually, like I said, very flexible, and it is being used by multiple use cases. We're going to talk about 3 use cases today during this presentation. The first one being confidential computing, which deals with the issues of sharing private information and maintaining extreme confidentiality. This can be used by military uses, research and development, health data, finance information. The next area where we've had a lot of success with customers is digital assets and the blockchain. Blockchain technology is not only used for Bitcoins, but it can be used for transferring money across borders, custody solutions of digital currencies, and other secure token offerings, which are ways of digitally creating value for devices like real estate and other digital currencies. All can be done much more securely on our platform. And as I mentioned before, we also have a system. The platform has been used to create a system for securing access to critical infrastructure. This webinar is being done over Zoom, partially because, as we all know, we're having a global pandemic. So Zoom has become our great friend. And many, many companies are working remotely more and more. And this is a good thing, but for critical infrastructure, this can be very dangerous, since as you allow remote working of approved technicians, you also potentially create a risk of remote access by hackers, which can be catastrophic. So we've teamed together with the Israeli electric company in launching a system that is used to protect access to critical infrastructure. And we're going to talk about that also as well. So what are the issues with confidential computing in the cloud? The issues with confidential computing is that on one hand, you want to create an aggregation of data from multiple organizations. So you want multiple organizations to put data in, but you don't want them to be able to see data coming out. And this type of filtered access to the data is not very cloud friendly. In addition, you have the actual modeling, the AI software, the neural network running, and all of the big data analysis, which is actually very valuable programming, which is running on this data, but you want to actually protect that network from the organizations putting the data in. And all of this cross protection and different analysis that comes out creates a very, very difficult configuration for the cloud or for the firewall slash HSM slash general computing that is done today. And so we've actually partnered with a large networking company in the USA, and we're going to be deploying a secure multi-party machine based on our architecture, which is an excellent environment for confidential computing. So each company, as we said, we have multiple cores. So each company gets their own core in the vault, or their own set of cores in the vault, and they can determine the policy and the rules for the data that they specifically put in their core. So they can manage their own rules. So, you know, data from company A can have its rules, data from company B can have its rules, data from company C can have its rules. And these rules protect their own data and can be set independently. In addition, there can be the AI application can also be protected by its own set of rules. And also the secure modeling and analysis can be protected. And therefore you get an environment which can be scaled to support large computational loads, but yet has complete controlled access for all the people providing information into the system. And of course, the hackers are kept out due to the secure firewall filtering done on the system itself. As we say here, this provides protection in the cloud. I might say it also provides protection from us. The thing about cloud data is that in many cases, the people who work for the cloud company or the people who operate the computers in the cloud company can see the data. In the case of hub security, nobody in our company has access to any of this data. These platforms are even secure from ourselves. The AI application is protected separately from the data, which is a unique element. And in the future, we will be deploying homomorphic encryption on cores designed especially for homomorphic encryption. Just one word about homomorphic encryption, I'll answer more later in questions. Homomorphic encryption allows you to manipulate data in its encrypted form. In most cases, data is encrypted, then it's decrypted for manipulation, and then re-encrypted. And homomorphic encryption allows you to do the manipulation on data in its encrypted form, and this needs specific support from hardware in order to be done efficiently. Secure access to critical infrastructure. So we all know about usernames and passwords, and we use them, you know, most of the time. Every now and then you have systems like that ask you for, hey, I'm going to send you a text message with a number. That's called two-factor authentication. So not only do you have a username and a password, but you have two-factor authentication, which more and more systems are deploying because we realize that username and password does not provide enough protection. But again, when you take the example of your movies stored in a drawer and your diamonds stored in a safe, the protection that I put on my Gmail isn't really enough to protect remote access to a nuclear power plant. You'd really want a little bit more protection in that case. And so hardware-based authentication or multi-factor authentication is essential for critical systems. And the issues with two-factor authentication, like what I have on my Gmail, is that first of all, you can access the web service provider bypassing the validation. You can bypass the validation service, or you can emulate the device. So in other words, how does the system know that my phone is me because it sent me a text? But if somebody can emulate my phone, then the hacker can receive the text and log into the system. And so while these systems, again, are enough to protect my Gmail, they actually have a lot of places to be hacked. And so we introduced our devices before. So our FIPS Level 3 mini HSM client can be used as the authentication device, and our vault can be used as the validation server. And in this case, the client can't be hacked. Our HSM is much, much more secure and harder to emulate are virtually impossible to emulate when compared to a phone, can't be emulated. You can do what we call multi-client authorization, which we're going to see now. And the rules, this is a very important thing. When you check, when I send in my text, you need to compare the text I sent in to the one that the server had. But let's say you hack the server, and so the comparison is hacked. Then the rule is executed, but not securely, and that bypasses the whole validation. And so you really want the rules themselves to be executed inside a secure environment and not in a general purpose computer. And most important, what you see on the mini screen of the mini HSM is what you approve. The screen of a telephone or a computer being used for access can be hacked. So you could, the screen could show you A, but really you'd be approving B. And that is something we want to avoid. Hence, the display is on the secure device itself. In our case, the system would do user ID and password login. Then you would validate the user ID. The authenticated challenge would be sent to a secure device, and the authentication response would be provided. This is the regular way of going through two-factor authentication. In this case, it's a very secure method of two-factor authentication. But then we have another level. Even after you've passed the authentication, you want an approver to approve that access. So let's go to our power plant. We have a technician who's authorized, and he's allowed to get in. Even after that technician passes approval, we want an internal approver to approve that that technician is still working with the company, didn't steal the device, it was still online, and he's still working in the hours that he's allowed to be there. And so you can go through approval of approvals. This is called multi-factor authentication, which is the best way to protect access to critical infrastructure. And only then, after the approver approves the access, will the access be allowed into the system. I know I've been talking for a while. I have one more example left, and that's secure blockchain. And so, you know, if you walked into a regular bank and you said to the person in the bank, hey, where's the vault? And he said, oh, I bought this wallet on Amazon. It's very expensive. I store all the money in the bank in that vault. And then you said, well, I'm going to give you all of my secure papers, my passport and my driver's license. Where are you going to secure them? And the guy said, I'm going to keep them in the same place on the same cloud. I don't think you would do business with that bank. But in general today, most people buying cryptocurrency do exactly this. Most of the providers of big cryptocurrencies use cloud services that we use. They use the same technology for my wallet that they use for the bank's wallet. And they keep your identification in the same place that they keep the money. Now, blockchain itself, this is one thing that we need to point out, as a static piece of data is secure. There's no problem with the public blockchain and the security of a static blockchain. The issue is getting things onto the blockchain. Every time I do an operation, I need to add something to the blockchain. And in this case, I need my private key. And my private key is used to put things on the blockchain. The private key of blockchain is extremely vulnerable. If a hacker steals that private key, that hacker becomes you. And they can steal every single one of your assets instantaneously. They can transfer all of your money to their account in a matter of seconds, and it's very, very hard to get it back. And while blockchain operations need to be approved and verified, again, if these verifications and approvals are done in a non-secure environment, then they themselves can be hacked. And so this whole process is many locations where it can be hacked. And again, our platform comes into case where the blockchain wallets are stored inside the vault. The blockchain keys are stored inside the vault. All of the smart contracts which govern the execution of certain transactions are executed and verified inside the vault. The policies of the approvers of the blockchain transactions are also done inside the vault. And all of these transactions are logged automatically inside the vault. And so in this case, getting the data onto the blockchain is done just in a very secure environment, increasing the confidence that people can have in storing their money. These are just 3 use cases that our company supports. This is, again, my contact information, but I'm sure that you'll have it more. And I'd like to move over to the Q&A session. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Carmi. I think that was a really concise and clear breakdown of the cybersecurity landscape as we see it today, especially as it relates to finance and banking, and as it relates to cryptography. So thank you so much. I guess I will just jump right into some questions that I have for you guys. Maybe open up a bit of a discussion. And we also have some questions from the audience that I wanted to share. Maybe David, for you, I would like to maybe understand how does Alice International see the cybersecurity market today and the increase of cyber threats, specifically as it relates maybe to you know, the growing work from home culture?
Yeah, I try to respond being positive in any case, because the situation is not the best, especially for cybersecurity threat that we are facing today. You know, we decided to work quite 1 year ago with Hub Security to find a better solution to improve the second and third factor of authentication security system, because the market, or because the environment of the cybersecurity is needing this solution. What we are registering now, especially with this strange period, is that more than 55% of the, or we have an increase of 25% in Europe of what we are registering of cyber crimes. Mainly they are coming exactly in this way. So there are few ways to keep the information, to keep the identity of the customer for making money. So it is not just for gaming. Now the security risks are absolutely concrete, and we are deciding to work with Hub Security because we think that is really a concrete response for specific attacks that are really expensive if they reach the target. So there are concrete requests for this. We have some customers also together in Switzerland. We cannot share the names, of course, but this is why now we are moving also faster with respect to the previous period with Hub Security. But we are positive. We think that we can cover issue and stop as much as we can the crime, the cyber crime, for company and for our customers.
And what are some of the threats that you guys are seeing? If you can, I mean, not to get into detail maybe, but right now I know that there is a spike in ransomware, for example, attacks on healthcare.
Let's say banks and all the customers that are strongly using their website or the web for communicate, for collaborate, and for selling as well. So providing services to customers. Of course, banks are one of the more interesting target for crimes, and also other companies like energy company that providing services for large services for the people, so airports and whatever.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And Carmi, how do you think that cloud computing has added an additional layer of complexity to all of this?
So cloud computing adds the layers. First of all, before cloud, let's understand we had all of our computers inside a building. So the firewall protected the physical location. You had actual physical access protection to computers, and you had locational access protection. Now, I'm not actually against cloud. I think cloud is great, and it's much better than on-prem for many, many applications. But because of the cloud computing is in itself strongly based on networking. And so the network in and network out protection is problematic. You have lots of computers. And the thing that we always need to remember is security is only as strong as its weakest link. So if you have a cloud environment based on 100 computers, or You have these multi-transactions, and one of them is not patched, just one out of 100. So 99 are patched, you're broken. And then it's not only cloud, it's actually open source. Open source means multiple people get to contribute software to your solution, including hackers, get to put things in open source. And so then these open source things run inside your firewall, breaking protection, other things that kill the firewall whole deployment model is IoT. Firewall protects things from getting in, but IoT is actually in, and so you've already let it in. So a hack on an IoT device is actually inside your firewall protecting things. As we become more complex with our architectures, the current structure of standalone firewall, standalone secrets, and standalone compute, it just isn't keeping up with the primo applications. That's the problem.
Interesting. Thank you for sharing. And David, what kind of services can Alice International offer through Hub Security Solution for its clients?
Yeah, as shown in the beginning, we are a system integrator, and we use technologies like Hub Security to provide solution for our customer. In this case, what we do is what we are doing for the last 20 years, that are providing a project, working with a project with a customer using Hub Security as technology, and we can sell and project the system and the platform for customer that should be provided on-prem. So to the customer offices, including the two components that are the core component and the devices, but also we can, and in this case, we are installing, we are maintaining and maintaining also the platform for years, be sure that it's up and running, it's up to date and whatever, and also we can provide also as a service. It means that we can just give the endpoints to customers that they don't want to manage also the core platform, and we can do that from our company. It's a mix of services that we can provide. The process is exactly the second slide that I show you, that are project, delivery, and maintenance. Especially in this case, the maintenance and the support is absolutely needed because it's really a vertical cybersecurity solution for customers.
Carmi, maybe you can tell us a bit about Hub Security's business model.
Our business model. So in general, it's we making money, no, but in most cases, it's security as a service. And the best thing about our platform is due to the ability to configure it. It's actually, I guess I'll use a right sizing. In most cases, people who make secure computing, they come in 3 sizes: small, medium, large. But if your business requirements are someplace between medium to large, you need to pay for large. And we can configure our systems to meet the exact needs of specific customers. It's a tailor designed architecture. And so the cost of ownership actually goes down when compared with the other systems due to the flexibility to build a system that exactly meets the needs that they have. Also, we use a lot less floor space, so we're much easier to configure. We go in smaller places. There's a lot of other benefits involved. And the remote management with the mini HSM saves a lot of operational money. You know, in many cases, when you have secure systems, you need to go to them to do things. You need to get on a plane or a bus, configure 4 people, have them go together and push some buttons on a panel someplace. This actually happens in banks all the time. And with our system, nobody needs to get on a bus, nobody needs to travel anywhere, and the multiple people making authorizations can all do that from their desk using a mini HSM. So the operational costs go down as well.
Great, thank you for sharing. Did you want to add something to that, David? Okay. So I think we're running a bit low on time, so maybe I will just share a Q&A that we have gotten from our audience, from one of our participants here. Alon asks, is Subsecurity's technology relevant for end-to-end encryption for applications and WebRTC for streaming?
So the answer is, of course. Okay, one, it's flexible, so it can do that. But what actually we didn't speak about the main use case for using secure computing, which is key management. And of course, we support key management. We just didn't mention it because it's like saying that a car has wheels. So yes, we do key management. We do end-to-end key management. We do end-to-end encryption, and we have all of the primitives that you need, from RSA, ECC, Diffie-Hellman, different AES mechanisms. All that is done within our secure platform. It's actually one of the core elements. In many cases, that key management is the core layer that other applications is built on, but it's certainly one of our major functions. And thank you for the question.
Yeah, welcome. And a question, maybe a final question for you, David, before we wrap up here is, what do you see the future of the partnership between LS International Security being, and how do you see your relationship growing in the future?
Yeah, unfortunately, we cannot meet personally with Carmi in this period, and but we think we had time as in the past. We'll have time as in the past. Now we are trying to approach the Swiss market concretely in this period. And as we did with other Israeli technology that decided to came in the European market, my view is that thanks for the moment, thanks for the ability of Subsecurity to provide a solution that is absolutely really, let's say, elastic, really open to be configured, as Carmi said, for several markets in a very vertical solution. We think that we could do really nice things for the future and for the present also with Subsecurity. And the idea is to continuously grow with them, to working together, not just a supplier and customer, but just working together to give a concrete response to our customer. So I see a good future, and we can shake the hands shortly, I think, maybe exactly, maybe in a few months, also because the weather there in Israel is absolutely better than here. So I would like to come shortly to your country. But joking apart, yes, it's a concretely a good solution, and the market is responding well. This webinar is the opportunity to start to share with the Swiss market and also in the rest of the Europe, the fact that there is a technology, there is an integrator that can provide solution, and together we can do something good together.
Absolutely. Carmi, anything to add to that?
No, I think that I'm just going to ask for the attendees to get the word out. One of the problems with our global pandemic is that I actually am not two-dimensional. I actually have a third dimension that you just can't see. And we used to meet people. And so there's a new platform. We need the word to get out. This webinar is one way of doing it, word of mouth, talking to other people and just getting it done. And then talk to David and the other people of our representatives. We're small. We need good companies like LS to help us. In general, the answer to the question is, can this platform support ABC? In most cases, the answer is yes. So find out before you decide.
Great. Thank you, Carmi. And thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you to our speakers, Carmi and David Bortolotto. And we hope that you're all staying safe and healthy at home. And we look forward to hosting many more discussions like these. To learn more about LS International, you can find them on LinkedIn. If you haven't already found this webinar through, and we'll also share David's contact information below for anyone who is interested in learning more about LS International and their services. There you go. And to stay up to date on upcoming webinars, you can follow Subsecurity on LinkedIn and on Twitter And you can also check out our weekly digest on Medium for the latest stories coming out of the blockchain and crypto sphere. Everything cyber related we're talking about. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and thank you to our speakers.
Thank
And
you.
see you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And we'll see you next time.